One day, the Buddha was walking from one town to another with a few of his followers. As they were traveling, they happened to pass by a lake. They stopped to rest there, and the Buddha asked one of his disciples to get him some water from the lake. The disciple walked up to the lake. When he reached it, he noticed that some people were washing clothes in the water. At that moment, a bullock cart started crossing through the lake, and as a result, the water became very muddy. The disciple thought, "How can I give this muddy water to the Buddha to drink?" So he came back and told the Buddha, "The water in the lake is very muddy. I don't think it is suitable to drink." After a while, the Buddha asked the same disciple to go back to the lake and get him some water. The disciple obediently went back to the lake. This time, he found that the mud had settled down and the water was clean. So he collected some in a pot and brought it to the Buddha. The Buddha looked at the water, then looked up at the disciple and said, "See what you did to make the water clean. You let it be, and the mud settled down on its own. It is also the same with your mind. When it is disturbed, just let it be, give it a little time, and it will settle down on its own." The story illustrates how the Buddha taught his disciple that when the mind becomes disturbed or agitated, the best approach is to simply let it be and allow it to settle on its own, rather than trying to force a solution. Just as the muddy water in the lake eventually cleared on its own once the disturbance had passed, the Buddha explained that the same principle applies to the mind. When we are faced with a troubled or unsettled state of mind, the wisest course of action is to not interfere or try to fix it immediately. Instead, we should patiently allow the mind to settle and regain its clarity. Some ways we can apply this lesson in our daily lives. When feeling stressed, anxious, or emotionally upset, resist the urge to immediately try to solve the problem. Take a step back, breathe deeply, and give your mind the space and time to naturally calm down. Avoid impulsive reactions to difficult situations. Instead, pause, observe the mind, and let the initial agitation subside before deciding how to respond. Practice mindfulness meditation to cultivate the ability to simply observe your thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them. This develops the patience and non-reactivity needed to let the mind settle. When faced with a challenging task or decision, don't force a solution. Allow your mind to work through it organically rather than pushing too hard. The key is to trust the natural process of the mind, just as the Buddha trusted the water to clear itself. By practicing patience and non-interference, we can navigate life's ups and downs with greater ease and clarity.
Leave a comment below and tell me if these things resonate with you. Thank you very much for watching until the next video. Don't forget to subscribe because subscribing is free.